And so it's just my mom, when I was in 3rd grade, she got diagnosed with breast cancer, right? And I was like, oh, she has breast cancer. I mean, she'll get better, right? It's not a big deal. Well, it was a really, really big deal. When her condition grew worse, I didn't know, and it was really affecting me inside, because on top of like school and kind of slowly figuring out like, oh, I'm a little different, you know, on top of that, it was my family's condition. So when I was in summer of before 7th grade, she had to go to China, right? My parents made the decision for her to go to China and to get better, and because they couldn't give her any more medicine here that would help her from her condition, because it was just getting worse. And so what happened was she went to China for a good summer, and I was really affected by that inside, and I didn't know. My mom was the worst I've ever seen her. It was so bad that she would never get out of bed, and she eventually had to have a nurse take care of her, and it was just getting worse, and I didn't know what to do, and I kept avoiding it. I was like, she's gonna be fine, she's gonna be okay. And no one was really telling me the truth until Maris's mom came up to me. She was like, she's dying, Leroy's, and that was, she's dying, Alicia, she's dying. And I was like, what are you talking about? You know? I was just like, okay. I just kind of took it in, and because everyone just looked up to me, I was like, it will be okay, you know? So that same day, Maris's mom told me, I went to my mom's room, and I was like, hey, I need to talk to you, okay? We need to talk. I know you're in pain. I know you do not want to talk right now, but I need to talk to you. And so we talked about it, and I was lying down next to her, and I started crying. I couldn't even talk, and she's like, what's wrong? What's wrong, you know? And I was like, so people are saying this, people are saying that. Is it true? Is it real? And she's like, no, I'm going, I promise you, I will always be here. That's what she said to me. I'm always here, I'm going to be okay, and you will love your sister, and we're gonna be happy, right? I was like, okay. And then she fell asleep, and I couldn't sleep. I cried myself to sleep. So I'm in school, I was just going through the motions, whatever. And the next thing you know, me and my sister get called in the principal's, and I'm like, what is this, right? Why are you calling me in? And so she was like, oh, your aunt's gonna pick you up, blah, blah, blah. I was like, okay, whatever, right? I was like processing everything, just letting it come to me, but being strong for my sister and for my dad, you know? And so my aunt picked me up, and she's a mess. I didn't think of anything. I didn't want to jump to conclusions, and I just kept my sister by my side. And the principal, like, when we're going out, she talks to me. She's like, she whispers, and I hear her. She's like, be strong, or whatever, or I'm praying for you. I was like, okay, whatever. And so I left with my aunt and my sister. We went to the hospital, and I go, and I see my mom. She's just there, lying there, and my family's all around her, and she keeps saying, like, well, why are you guys so late? It was harder for her to talk. It was the point where she had to write what she wanted to say, and she couldn't even write, you know, like, her hand was shaking. She was not in a physical state where she could even write or talk. And so I was just there, holding her hand, and so she just, all I could get from her was, I love you, You know, that's it. That's all I heard from her. And my sister too, and everyone's crying. And I still haven't cried. I still haven't cried at this point. And so we stayed there the whole day. And then it was like past midnight or whatever. And then it was November. She finally she died. You know, she just passed away. And I wasn't crying until my aunt sat me down and was like, okay, it is okay. And I cried. You know, I guess I didn't cry because I was like, all these people are looking at me. Everyone's crying. I need to be there for them. You know, my emotions are not important right now. None of it is. And so, but then she sat me down and I just started bawling my eyes out. And, you know, we got to get through the process of everything and her funeral and the speech and the mass. And, you know, it was, no one even wanted to talk for her. No one in my immediate family. My dad didn't want to do it. Just no one. And I was like, hey, I'm not letting like some third person in our family talk for my mom. She deserves better than that. So I went up and I gave this speech, and, you know, I did not want to wear a dress. I did not want to wear a skirt. I did not want to do any of that. But my dad guilt-tripped me and was like, your mom would have wanted you to do this. You know, wear the dress, wear the skirt, but you wear the heels, just do it for your mom. And so I went, wore the skirt, did everything, and I made the speech. And I'm only in like 7th grade, right? So I had to make the speech, I had to do all of this, taking care of my dad, taking care of everyone.
Mom and I weren't close. It's hard not to remember life without her. I'm going to miss her. We all are. But the truth is, she's not really gone. She's still in our memories.
Next thing I know, a couple days later, I get all these letters from my mom when she wrote them, and saying like how she described her condition, and she loves me, and she knows. She's like, this is what really hit me. She's like, you are a strong girl. Do not act like a guy. You are not a boy. You know? I was like, man. So I went to middle school, and it was La Prisma. It was a private Catholic school. So uniforms, the dress, the skirt, the blouse, the put your hair back, this, do all this, you know? And it hurt me inside. I was like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to go to school wearing a skirt every single day, but I had to. I could have worn shorts, but my dad was like, no, why are you wearing shorts? The school policy is this. And then I just kept remembering my mom, and I was like, fine, you know, fine, I'll do it. So I kind of just dealt with that for a good 2 years. Just like whatever. And then it was a really hard time for me in middle school. I was like an introvert, just really shy. If I had to talk, I'd talk. I mean, I had a couple friends, but it was like, I don't like this school. This is stupid. And the teachers were really on your back and really strict on you, you know, and it just sucked.
So I met Lee when Lee was in 7th grade, and Lee went to a school I taught. I taught at a private school, and I taught music class. And Lee and Lee's little sister were students of mine. And at that time, Lee went by Alicia. And the school was Catholic, and so they had uniforms that were very gender binary. So all the girls every Friday had mass, and they had to wear dresses. So Alicia would wear a dress, and all the boys had to wear suits. And so I noticed back then that Alicia was different and seemed less comfortable when Fridays came and Lee had to wear the dress.
On top of that, I didn't have my mom, so I didn't have a mom to talk about like like tell me if I was doing anything right, if me being in the girls was normal, or if, I didn't have that, so it was really hard, but it was just a rough middle school, rough years, because they're so strict on you. And on top of that, I was finding out who I am, and my dad was even worse on me, about me being gay or lesbian, it was just hard, and no one really knew. I mean, they can assume, but me telling anyone, no one really knew.